I was going to mention that for those hiring managers who are watching this, to understand that what Russell's done is built a culture that enables him to execute multiple different ways. It sounds very familiar to what we call commander's guidance, the ability to plan. We call what you said, those red lines, we call critical information factors, things that we have to know because we have to make a decision on that. That's not something I'm going to leave to the Lance Corporal or the private to do. That's something I have to know right now. And so a hiring manager who's listening to this story and says, I want an organization like that, that's what the military veteran will bring to the conversation. That culture, that leadership, everything else that Russell's been explaining throughout this interview, and to do that. So to think about veterans and why would I do that? Because there is a struggle right now that we hear about veterans finding their way as they're coming out of the service and just looking for that chance, that opportunity. Just give me that opportunity and I will knock it out of the park. But there comes some responsibility on the leadership side to make sure they've got those factors that you just discussed. I'd like to
I
transition. Go ahead.
you're 100% right. It's as a leader, it is our responsibility to provide the challenge and the clarity with the new hires, but also set them up to succeed. You have to provide the resources, whether that's certain kinds of tools and time and investment, but really importantly, you gotta have a coach, somebody that can help hold their hand and get them onboarded. A lot of really successful people, even not from the military, can and do fail if they're just put in a position that they don't have somebody navigating their course, at least in the short term. So those short-term successes are critical ingredients to ensuring somebody's long-term optimism within the company and success. You want them to have wins and have that positive attitude about, I am thankful I am here, I am making an impact within the organization, and I am empowered to do what I think is right within a large scope of influence.
I'd like to transition to the veteran because you mentioned things that were key to you in that resume that allowed you to see deeper into the person. And those were like performance, quantitative, what was it? Performance metrics, where it created a story.
Yep.
So we'll be talking in this part, we'll be talking to a veteran who's trying to figure it out. How do I transition out? What does their resume need to look like? And then what do they need to talk about in an interview to be able to demonstrate their competency to get the job done no matter the situation?
Good questions. There's a methodology called SOAR, SOAR, for situation, obstacles, actions, and results. And I essentially take the interviews with that kind of methodology, whether they're veteran or not. I am looking for those stories that will start from something that they put on their resume. The ideal thing that I look for on a resume is I improved something from X to Y. They're probably not going to take the time to delineate how did they do that. What was their role in doing it? And that's the purpose of the interview for me, is I will nitpick on the resume. How did you accomplish this? What was your role? Were you a leader? Were you just a participant? Sometimes you can have a leadership stance and not the leadership title on like a team, just by influencing your peers. I'm essentially asking some questions to try to dive down to figure out how did they handle this. And then I'm always looking, I'm thinking like, am I being BS'd or is this legit? So I'm really trying to dive down and trying to understand what were the actions that they took? What were the decisions that they make? What kind of vision did they have when they were trying to accomplish some kind of improvement? In our business, we're always going to be looking to fix problems in a way that they don't come back. So we're thinking systemically. And I'm looking for that kind of thought process as well on how do they accomplish it. So the main thing is a number of examples on I improved some kind of metric from X to Y, whether it was they did it individually, they led a team that did it, or they participated significantly on a team that did that. And if you're in the military, you're not always going to have those business direct metrics, but the behaviors that somebody exhibits in those kind of transformations are absolutely able to be copied and pasted from the military in the business. It's just you're adapting to different kind of cultures and styles. And that varies from organization as well. So I'm looking for that. How did you do it? What kind of adversity did you have to overcome? Those are the critical ingredients in the story. You know, if I can find out a scenario, well, you know, we tried this and it didn't work out the way we thought, so we quickly learned from that and pivoted and did something else. That's what I'm looking for as well, because it's directly applicable to what I already told you. You know, I'm trying to allow happen in the organization. So if I see that they have a lot of experience in doing those things in the military, it's simply a matter of bringing them into the organization. Here's the football. Don't go out of bounds on the left. Don't go out of bounds on the right. But generally, that direction is the end zone, and you let them run with it.